Good afternoon. Excuse me. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are having a great, awesome Saturday afternoon. As always, I am David Schlotthauer here, your weather host for today. And in this live stream, we are going to be talking about the very cold Arctic air that's coming in out of the north. That's why I wanted to do a live discussion on this too. But most importantly, we're going to have a really strong winter storm develop over here in the Ozarks, and it's going to travel all the way into the northeast over the next 24 hours. And I'm not trying to cough today, a really bad cough. And then after that, we have a second winter storm that's going to be plaguing the deep south into the southeast. This is a consequence of this Arctic invasion that is coming in out of the north. And we've been talking about this day and night, as in making 2 videos a day on this wintry weather pattern that is developing. So looking at satellite right now, we have our first system. This is what I call a semester type system. This is basically your appetizer of a winter storm moving through. Some areas did not receive hardly any snow at all, while others received about an inch or 2. So not really a big wintry weather system moving through the northeast at all by any means, just only a little bit of snow. But then there's another system down here that will be developing because we have this strong upper level jet that is going to intensify. And interestingly enough, when you get a jet stream that overrides the Ozarks and ejects into the mid-Atlantic like this is going to do, you get a little bit of isotropic ascent that develops, and you get a lot of convergence on the leeward side of these Appalachians. And well, there is such a name, just like Colorado Rocky lows that develop in the high plains. We also get the same thing developing over the eastern seaboard and the mid-Atlantic, but it's not as significant when it comes to cyclogenesis because the terrain here is not as high as it is over the Rockies. All right. And so what we're going to end up seeing is just that taking place. A lot of deepening with that surface low as it races off the coast here of the mid-Atlantic into the northeast. Then, of course, up here is where there's a lot of cold air that's in place, and I'll show you that here in a split second. So let's go to that. So this is a look at the latest. Actually, let me make sure I have the right tab here. I think that's the right tab. No, it's the last one. It's this one. All right, so this is the RTMA data looking at the current temperatures right now across the United States. And yeah, it's slowly, gradually getting cooler, especially with northward extent. This is where we are seeing the coldest air moving in. And wait until I show you the wind chill values right now. This is not the coldest that it's going to get. There's another reinforcement of colder air coming in out of the north with another Arctic high on Monday into Tuesday. But look at down here. Yeah, you're in the 70s. That's where our surface low is developing, our initial one, because we have the tightest gradient right all in here. So that's why we're going to get this winter storm developing rapidly into the northeast, because that temperature gradient, the thermal to wind gradient is tightest through here. So yeah, 70s down here will soon become the teens and 20s in the next day or two. And then up here, you got single digits and negative temperatures. In fact, I checked up here in Queen Elizabeth Island. There's a weather station up here in Canada, registered to Canada, reporting a temperature already of negative 30 degrees and a wind chill of negative 70 degrees right now. So that's where all the colder air is at this moment, and this is all coming this way. It's all coming out of the north. All right, and it's going to get all the way down here into very low latitudes. Even central Florida could have temperatures in the 20s in the morning. You don't see that often. So that's what we're concerned about. And when we look at our wind chill index, yeah, this is pretty pretty significant. We're talking about wind chill values here right now, currently right around -30 to -40 degrees. Yeah, there's a -41 here. We have a -44 wind chill up here in northern Manitoba, Canada. Actually, yeah, that's Manitoba. Or wait, no, Saskatchewan. I think it's, yeah, something like that. And then you got, there's your Arctic front right in here. That's where your colder air is, and this is moving over Lake, Hudson Bay, excuse me there. All these names, I'm telling you, all these locations. And yeah, down here across California, not so bad. All right, so let's take a look here. Let's go to our forecast. Okay, why is this in Celsius? It's a problem. Maybe it isn't Celsius. Is that okay? Hold on. Technical difficulty. Okay, we fixed it. Okay, now let's take a look at our models. Let's go to our convective allowing models. And let me make this a little smaller because the mouse looks ugly when it's black like that. Just the way the graphics are, I guess, on the computer. So here's a look at the high resolution rapid refresh model, and we're going to look at the 18Z model run. And what I'm going to show you is this first initial winter storm. Now, we're seeing the one coming through right now that's bringing a little bit of snowfall. Now, this is a little over-exaggerated because the model is, models are models, and they're not perfect. Okay, and so as we go through, that's all you have left with this first initial winter storm moving through the Northeast, all right? But what I'm telling you all is watch what happens when we move this forward into about 4 in the morning Eastern time. This is that second more intense winter storm that develops, and this is over Kentucky. No freezing rain problems with this one, but any ice that is left on the trees, the snow accumulates on that. We could have additional downed trees and some power outages just because snow will tend to stick to ice a little bit more better than if there was not any ice accumulating here. And that ice would be from our recent winter storm that brought a little bit of ice there nearly a week over, just about a week ago. And that ice may not have had much time to melt. So yeah, don't be surprised if there are some isolated power outages due to that. So by about 11 in the morning, this is when it really gets going. Baltimore, Frederick, Winchester, Linton Hall, Elkins, Clarksburg, Morgantown in West Virginia, you're going to get a little bit of light to moderate snowfall. But this is going to amplify a lot more intensely as this moves over New York City. Now, this is one numerical model. Everyone, this is a high-res model, so it's not perfect. So just because, oh, I'm in New York City, it looks like we're getting a lot of snow according to what David is telling us. Just for reference, if we look at the NAM model, let's go to the NAM here. Let's go a little forward. This is in the first process of rendering at the moment. So if we look at that, it is showing still snow, but a few model runs ago, it was raining in New York. Okay, there was going to likely be a lot of rainfall. Now there's a lot of snow. So where this transitional line develops between rain and snow will be very important because it could make the difference between New York, say, getting maybe 8 or 9 inches of snow, or New York City getting only maybe an inch of snow or no snow at all. Yeah, that's the thing about these nor'easters. So it's all about location, where that snow band sets up. And so back to the 18Z run, you can see, yeah, that is some decent snow, but also notice how it gets pretty close. This would be more than likely a wet snow here over New York, Islip in Long Island, Oyster Bay in New York City-ish, Albany. If you're in Birmingham, that's where you would get a little bit of snow. Now, surprisingly, upstate New York, not in on this winter storm. You're not going to see any snow at all with this. Maybe a flurry, but that's all about it. Actually, maybe see some diamond dust because the air is going to be so cold behind this this winter storm. But yeah, areas down here, Hartford, Bridgeport, all the way down to Trenton in New Jersey, as well as southeastern Pennsylvania, you have the best chance here of seeing the more heavy snow. Again, depending on exactly where that sets up. But yeah, wherever the heaviest snow develops, you're going to get a lot of accumulation, maybe up to about 8 to 10 inches of snow. Boston could get almost a foot of snow out of this winter storm, and I'll show you the snowfall totals here in a second. And then that moves out by the time we go into early Monday morning, right around 4 in the morning. And then by 6 and 7 in the morning for your morning commute. Actually, no one's commuting on Monday because it's inauguration / Martin Luther King Jr. Day, unless a lot of you or some of you do have to work regardless of the holiday, like me. Yeah, we'll be working here from the home office for YouTube. So yeah, I'll be working even on Inauguration Day. Yeah, I'm keeping that tangent up, and then that moves out. And then you're left with lake effect snow. Yeah, look at this. This is telling us there's going to be a lot of cold air in the wake of this air mass, or in this wake of this weather system that's going to be moving through. In fact, I am pretty concerned about how cold some of these temperatures could actually get based on the HRRR and the NAM really going aggressive, especially up here in the Dakotas. And I will show you on the National Weather Service here in a second on latest warnings and stuff. Then here comes the next winter storm. This is pretty far out in time. Oh, well, 2 days out, and it's not capturing the winter storm. But you could already start seeing moisture coming off the Gulf here into Corpus Christi, and this snow coming in out of the northwest. So there is going to be that next system, and I'm pretty curious of how much snow will the high-resolution models capture with this system coming in, because right now it is looking pretty significant. And that's why we are going to turn it right over to our National Weather Service warnings first. Our weather alerts, that is. And this is what we have. This is pretty significant from a winter storm perspective and also from an Arctic air perspective. All these blue colors here, these are extreme cold warnings. The fact that the National Weather Service is using that wording over the northern plains really tells you all that this is pretty serious. I mean, I don't say this very often. This could be historic up here in the Dakotas, and if not, this could kill people. We could see fatalities from this amount of cold Arctic air. Frostbite problems. Don't want to be outside in this because you could get frostbite within like a minute or two because of these wind chill values. And yeah, your car might have a hard time starting up because it will be so cold out there. Your gas could actually become more like, not really jelly, but become more thicker, and the gas doesn't get to the engine as easily. So keep that in mind too. Cars are not going to do well in this. Also, extreme cold warnings in Montana and portions of Idaho. The cold air is really coming pretty far west here, at least across this whole area of the United States is going to be smothered in these very cold temperatures. We got wind chill or cold weather advisories down here, and we have extreme cold watches. I want to make sure I said that right. It's extreme cold watches, right? I don't even see it there. I think that's what that is. Or is that a winter storm watch? Man, they changed this. Okay, extreme cold watch. That's what that is. So, I mean, yeah, the winter side of things, I'm not live streaming mainly for the winter weather, but I mean, I haven't covered the Arctic air as much in my recent video, so I thought we'd do an extended version here. Because this colder air is national headline making for sure. I mean, come on, like literally in Pennsylvania, you have an extreme cold watch out behind all of this wintry weather. There's your nor'easter, winter storm warnings out, winter storm watches out for Maine. So this is storm number 2 here. That's the one that develops over here and moves this way. And then we have winter storm watches down here and extreme cold watches. Yeah, for Mobile, Alabama. That tells you something. And that's because this colder air is going to sink further south. And this winter storm, this second or this third one, is going to do something like this. And anything you get down here when it rides the coast like this with this colder air coming in, you're going to get snow. And it's not just even along the Gulf Coast, even like right out here in the Gulf of Mexico might be snowing. That's very far south, okay? So just to review, extreme cold warnings here. I've circled these two areas out for Mobile, Alabama. This is an extreme situation developing with this colder air coming out of the north. You all are not used to this. You could have temperatures at night near the single digits, wind chill values that will be in the negative territory. We're talking serious Arctic air outbreak down here. I would not be even surprised if northern Florida gets in on a cold weather product like a cold weather advisory. They're already out on freeze watches because of that. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they extend this. This is pretty far south. I've not seen anything like this probably in a few years since the great winter storm of the Midwest that brought a big ice storm down here because of an Arctic outbreak similar to this one. But yeah, anything in dark blue here, that's bad. That's very bad. And my prayers and thoughts are out to a lot of you that are having to go through this. This is, I mean, December was really warm and a lot of you thought, where in the heck is winter? Winter was slumbering a little bit, and it kind of finally woke up out of its rude awakening, all right? The pattern really has changed notably since December that favors this Arctic air mass, and I'm concerned that this pattern is not going to change. And the reason why this is not going to change is we have what we call a, what is it called? What the word is it that I'm looking for? NPAD. NPAD stands for North Pacific Pressure Dipole Pattern. So I'll explain that in a second and how that relates to this Arctic air. But this northwesterly flow with amplified standing wave pattern with a constructive wave interfering pattern with the ongoing La Nina is going to exacerbate this pattern even further. So in other words, the cold air might let up a little bit from historic values, but it's not going to go away entirely. So let's kind of do a timeline. So the first winter storm, that's the pop-up storm that I don't feel like not many people are really talking about that very much, other than just maybe a YouTuber here and there. This is a deal. This is going to bring up to a foot, almost a foot of snow for the Northeast. It's going to be a quick mover. That's probably why it's not making a whole lot of headlines. That moves out. And then here comes the beast of all beasts of a winter storm. And as we look at Texas here, I really want to kind of tunnel vision on this area. So here it is. Actually, let's just do the whole state of Texas. I know there's a lot of lines on here, but this is Texas right here. You can kind of see. So there's Texas, and what is this? This is snow over Houston, Texas for Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, we have snow over Texas, over Houston, over these big populated areas. Yeah, Corpus Christi, Texas. I mean, today you're in the 70s. Not so much on Tuesday. You're going to be down in the 20s and 30s. And it's going to get colder than that. Okay, because, again, this cold Arctic air is coming in out of the north. So as we play this through, yeah, you're going to start off with some snow or some rain briefly, transition over to sleet and wintry mix, and then briefly over to only snow before it all ends. But I want to really illustrate this. Now, some of you are probably wondering, why am I going aggressive on my titles? Why am I going aggressive on my thumbnails? Well, part of video marketing, but also because of how rare this winter storm is. For number one, let me ask you this question. I won't be looking at chat because we're talking about this winter storm, but how often do you see a snowstorm this far south? Like, I mean, It's snowing over the Gulf Coast here. I could even go to the deep south here and show you all. Go to the south central area. Actually, where's the deep south sector? That's snow over the Gulf Coast. Yeah, I mean, this is water. This is the Big Bend of Florida. This is Biloxi down here, and this is Lake Charles, Louisiana. And yeah, there is snow over the Gulf waters, the northern Gulf waters. That is quite impressive from a meteorological standpoint and from a historical standpoint. Do you rarely get snow in Louisiana? I mean, like literally a month ago, we were dealing with severe weather with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Forget about it. Not going to be that way. Not going to be that way this go around. Okay, I mean, this is just incredible. Just how much the temperatures are going to fall with this Arctic air mass that is surging southward. And then once we get into the southeast, which, by the way, this starts Tuesday morning. So for any morning commuters, really allow extra time. If you really have to go to work, regardless of this, please allow extra time to get to your destination, because we could have spinouts. We could have power outages here. Well, we will have power outages because the winds are going to be strong. We're going to have whiteout conditions where it's snowing, and with the freezing rain, we could have, or we will have, a lot of power outages. So in other words, even so, this is clipping the United States, and this is not an everyone storm like we had with Winter Storm Elliott back a couple of years ago. This, I mean, Houston is populated, Corpus Christi, Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, down there in, say, Jacksonville, Mississippi, southern Mississippi. If you're in Mobile, Alabama, Pensacola, Panama City, Florida, very iconic destinations. Be snowing. It's gonna be snowing. So this is Tuesday morning for your morning commute, and the good thing about this, I would say, is it's going to be moving through fast. This is not going to be snailing through. It's going to be going at a good clip. So it starts Tuesday morning for Louisiana, and it's done by the afternoon hours. So this is going to start and it's going to end. And so, therefore, that's going to limit the amount of magnitude of accumulations of snow you're going to see. And the other good thing here is because this colder air is more progressive. Remember, freezing rain is when you have an inversion. So in this case, we don't really have an inversion that's up here. And so the good news here for Louisiana is the chances of any freezing rain has decreased notably. So that's one less thing to worry about, but the other thing you're going to need to worry about is spinouts due to a lot of snowfall. People are not going to be prepared for this. People are not going to have snow shovels. Snow plows are not going to be able to keep up with this. It doesn't happen over here. This is not the Northern Plains or the Great Lakes or even the Northeast. This is subtropical regions. This is incredible. So now that's Tuesday afternoon for your, excuse me, not trying to cough. So, for the Southeast, for Tuesday night, this is when things get a little concerning and a little more uncertain because of, again, how this air mass modulates. And let me go to the southeastern sector here, zoomed out view. So the snow is going to start Tuesday afternoon. So for your afternoon commute for Georgia, you might start seeing a few flurries, and then that intensifies for the Atlanta metro area. But it's this area, how much advection, how much warmer air is able to ride up against this colder air. Because again, if we have warmer air moving over this colder patch of air at the surface, that's when you get into freezing rain, sleet problems, right? What you would want to see is the colder air overtaking the warmer air. So basically you get, it's hard to explain this, but you want cold air to override warmer air at the surface. So colder air or steep lapse rates in the low levels with height, and that allows this sharp transition from snow over to rain, rain over to snow. But here, this transition in the air mass, or there might be a warm front and a shallower amount of colder air here, So therefore, there is a risk for freezing rain and ice over Texas and over the Southeast. And these areas not supposed to have this. They're not supposed to have freezing rain this far south. And in fact, look how far south this gets. Let's go to Florida. And I'm going to use some historical context here. If I'm wrong, just let me know in the chat. And if I'm happen to look over there at chat, I will be able to correct myself. But as far as I remember, I do not remember Florida getting an ice storm this far south at least over 10 years. This is very, very far south in latitude. I mean, let's just say this. Where I'm at, I'm 38 degrees, 39 degrees north in latitude. We don't get snow or freezing rain. Yet, areas down here in Florida, you're getting wintry precipitation in the form of an ice storm. An ice storm in northern Florida, southeastern Georgia. That's just a bear of bad news. That really is. Infrastructure is not used to this. Road plows are not going to be able to do this. I mean, I'm just concerned. Road services are going to be overwhelmed because of all this ice. And when we take a look at our freezing rain total here, yeah, it's a tenth of an inch up to a half an inch of ice. That's going to be bad. That's just going to wreak havoc on the economy, the businesses, the roads and stuff. It's just not going to end well. And I'm not saying this to get views, folks. I want you all to understand this. This is what the models have been showing over the last several days. In fact, if we look at our 12Z run from yesterday, I mean, it hasn't changed from literally in the last 24 hours. Only this is a little further north, but still, it's covering areas that should not have snow, sleet, or freezing rain, period. Just flat out, period, okay? This is potentially historic. Even if you don't get a foot of snow, it only takes at least 6 inches of snow to get that. And yes, I did say historic. Doesn't mean it will be historic, but I'm using the word could, not because I don't know how to forecast, but I don't want to say it will 100% be historic and then it's a whopper, right? That's why I always use could in my videos, because it's a chance. Forecasts are probabilistic, are chances. Think about that. Ensembles, what are the chances of you seeing 2 inches of snow? And with that being said, let's go to our ensembles. So the European model, yeah, there's going to be up to 5 inches of snow down here across the deep south and the southeast. Now, what are the chances of you seeing that accumulation? So the chances of 6 inches of snow for Louisiana, yeah, it's up there at around 20 to 30%. And the chances of you seeing up to 6 inches of snow for southeastern Georgia is up to 40 to 50%. Yeah, this is if you have never seen snow in your life, this is your opportunity to see that. And what are the chances of 3 inches of snow? Yeah, the chances of 3 inches of snow across Louisiana all the way up the mid-Atlantic are anywhere between 40% all the way up to 80%. So, in other words, you're very likely to get some snow here. How much, we won't ever know the answer until the storm has ended. That's why we use these chances. Now, I don't show these in the video because I want to be basic. I want to go fast. Right? I want to be as detailed, but not overwhelmingly detailed in my videos. That's why I go through them quick, and I show more maps. It takes time. So that's why I save these streams for more detailed updates. And so what we're seeing here is chances. All right, what are the chances of this happening? Okay, everything has to be used by chances, and I think meteorology should be aimed in that general direction with probabilistic forecasts with how much snow. Now, a foot of snow, let's look at that. Yeah, there's a non-zero chance for a foot of snow over North Carolina with this winter storm. And how I see it is, as long as there's a chance, there's always a chance you might see a foot of snow. The chances are low, but it's not like there's no chances there at all. How about that? Now, what are the chances of you seeing an inch of snow? Just about everyone here in the Deep South, the Southeast, and pretty much the Mid-Atlantic, yeah, you're going to see an inch of snow. 3 inches, we just looked at that. So pretty important that we like to look at the chances here of snow accumulation. All right. So now, if I am doing a good job so far, folks, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are very close to 39,000 subscribers, and I want to give you all a big thank you for sharing my latest videos. I want to do a quick intermission here and maybe get to your guys' questions because, I mean, I am really, really blessed about how good we have done so far during the new year. Like this, we're already up to 5,000 subs this month so far, and it shows that you guys love me, you guys are interested in watching my channel, and it makes me want to do these videos in the morning hours, you know, because the time it takes for me to make these videos, I mean, my sleep schedule is all floppy, all just not organized at all, and it really pays off. This, I mean, I'm just blessed, especially a couple of days ago when my latest video got 101,000 views. So I want to say a big thank you to all of you guys. You guys do mean a lot to me, and I'm just excited to share the weather with you guys. I mean, every day it's like, how are my viewers doing? How are you guys doing? And are you guys ready for the winter weather and stuff, right? So, yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, and also be sure to ring the bell icon, okay? A lot of you probably have forgotten to do that. If you don't ring the bell icon, you guys won't get notified, right? Am I right? You guys won't get notified on the channel. So that's why I encourage you all to ring the bell icon until you hear it go ding, 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 right? No, yeah. All right, so any question? Oh, you know what? Did I forget to talk about the snowfall totals? I did probabilistic, but I never went into the actual snowfall totals for the Northeast storm. See, when I focus on one thing, I get thrown backwards. Okay. Let's use the European. Oh, actually, let's use a short-range ensemble forecasting system. Thank you, Annie, for the $20 donation. I do appreciate that and everything like that. Okay, so here's a short-range ensemble forecasting system. Let's go to the eastern sector. So no one really uses this, but this is actually, you know what? Let's use a national blend. Yeah, that's probably a little bit better to use a national blend because this is what the NWS actually uses. So when we look at the snowfall totals for the Northeast, we're looking at about 6 to 8 inches of snowfall in these areas. Some NWS offices are showing maybe up to 10 inches of snow. I think that's a little bit bullish at the moment, but not out of the question. So with the first system or the second one, that nor'easter clipper type winter storm, that's how much snow you're going to get. As we go forward, here comes the second system. On the national blend model here for the Deep South, you're looking at about 3 to 6 inches of snow, with some areas maybe up to 8 inches right along the mid-Atlantic coast of Virginia and North Carolina. That's the snowfall total. Let's see what the European model is actually telling us. Pretty similar. Let's use Kachira, right? Kachira. Right now, this is pretty impressive. Down here in Louisiana, based on the European deterministic forecast, pretty aggressive on the snowfall amounts. So let's go to the Deep South here. Okay, there we go. So here's the Deep South, Louisiana, 9 inches. Now, that is pretty incredible. That is significant. How often And I'm going to ask you all these questions too once I'm done doing my little briefing here about these snowfall totals. And you'll probably say once in my lifetime, because you don't see this very often with those snowfall accumulations. All right, and ice accumulations combined with that too, for Texas and for portions of Georgia. Okay, so that's a snowfall forecast with the first system, and then the second, and then the third system, that one that everyone's concerned about on Monday. Now let's kind of get into, oh man, we gotta, you know what? I want to show you all the Great Lakes, because this has also been kind of forgotten. This is going to be incredible right here. Let's go through Thursday morning. These Great Lakes are going to see significant amounts of lake effect snow, especially Watertown, New York, because this colder air coming in out of the northwest over these Great Lakes, you're going to get a lot of snowfall. And based on the European model, some of the coasts here over the next 5 days could get up to a foot to maybe a couple of feet of snowfall. Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, some isolated locations, you might see up to a few feet of snowfall. Up to a few, that's 3 feet of snowfall based on this. Now, even so, the model is not showing it exactly 3 feet. Remember, this is, if we look at our high-res models, and if they were, actually, you know what? Let me see if that actually pops up here. Yeah, see, so you can see the lake effect snow really going to start accumulating, and this is not even through day 5. And if we actually look at New York City really quickly on the lake effect snow, yeah, actually, you know what? Let me go over here, and let's use the NAM, and let's go to snowfall totals. Now, this is the 10-1 ratio. I wish they had Kachira that, because that's what it's going to be measured in, because it's going to be so cold. So let's take a look at this, and you will be amazed of how much snowfall there will be with this winter, or with these lake effect snow bands. So some areas here, 18 inches, the 10-1 ratio. But again, like I said, we're going to have really high ratios here. So we're looking at about maybe 30 inches of snow in the next 2.5 days. Yeah, I just said that, 2.5 days, up to perhaps 30 plus inches. And then over here, we could be looking at a couple of feet. And then look at some of these other areas, 21 inches, 10-1 ratio, that is a few feet. And then really up here, look at that, 31 inches. That's not even in Kachira. That could be measured in up to 60 inches or less in some of these areas. So the lake effect snow is really going to be a problem. And then, of course, New York City could get, again, up to 6 or 7 inches of snowfall with that nor'easter combined with this lake effect snow. Machine, that is going to be really amplified. And I wanted to make sure I showed that good for you all. Man, I forgot to change my scene. How dumb am I on that? So yeah, big time lake effect snow. That's going to be the big concern for the Great Lakes. You saw this last year and the year before. During these such cold Arctic outbreaks, you tend to get the more extremeness to the lake effect snow. So let's go over to pivotal weather. I wanted to show you now. Did I cover everything? Do you want me to show you the temperatures, folks? Because the temperatures, I do need to cover that a little more deeply, because I am concerned about the population with this. Thank you, Chad, for the $2 donation. I do appreciate that very much. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's get to questions before we transition into the Arctic air mass forecast. Let's get to snowfall questions, and then we'll just kind of move on from there. I feel like I'm ignoring you guys. I'm so sorry. Is this not even working? Uh-oh. Hold on. My thing froze. It's Come on, Radar Omega. Work on us. There we go. Okay, so let's get over to snowfall. Now, these are 10-1 ratios, so you got to add a little bit more onto this. And we're going to base these off of the GFS because the European model doesn't give us snowfall totals, which really sucks. It really sucks a lot. And we're going to use this based on our 12Z model because the 18Z is just coming in right now. So if we look at the next, let's go over the next 138 hours. That should cover this winter storm nicely. Right about in here. All right, so Malini Hart, thank you. Outstanding job, David. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Again, share this with your family and friends on social media, folks. You guys have been doing really good. I mean, very, very good at sharing the channel. I'm actually speechless. I'm being honest with you about that. I'm pretty shocked that I actually have done this good. I was only expecting like 34 or 35,000 subs by the end of January, and we're at 39,000, right? We are one subscriber away from 39,000. Right there, boy. We're literally 1,000 away from 40,000. And just about 11,000 away from 50,000. All right, so South Carolina. South Carolina snowfall totals. Georgetown, Garden City Beach, Conway. You're going to see Now, if we look at the, you know what? The GFS is really not so high resolution. I need to figure out, let me see our regional models. That's probably the 12 kilometer might be able to capture enough. Thank you, Sandy, for becoming a member. I do appreciate it. You know what? This is bogus. I'm going to actually use the NAM, the weather bell, because the Euro doesn't give us snowfall totals, and I do agree with the Euro a little bit more with that. So snowfall questions are going to be based off of weather bell. Yeah, see, this is why I want to use this right here. So South Carolina, you hit 39,000. Oh, I did. I even realized that. Oh, we are well below. We're way ahead of that now. 39,022, folks. Thank you. And man, boy, this is going up really stinking quickly. So thank you, guys. Thank you. We are less than 1,000 away from 40,000. So thank you for that. All right, I'll shut my stinking mouth about subscriber numbers now that we have 39,000. But again, yeah, if you're new, subscribe, share, and like, and ring the bell icon. All right, so yeah, for South Carolina, about 2 to 5 inches of snow is anticipated here. Actually, we're going to use the ensemble. That's even more generous, more accurate, because it's a blend of everything. So about 3 to 5 inches of snow is expected down there, South Carolina, and North Carolina, across Wilmington, maybe 6 inches. Yeah, 6 inches. How much snow is Connecticut going to get? So let's go to the northeast here for Connecticut. So Connecticut, with the first winter storm, you're likely to get between about 4 to 8 inches of snowfall with this winter storm. Now, depending on what part of Connecticut you're in, southeastern could get a lot lesser snowfall than the northeastern portion or northwestern portion. Thank you, Chad, for becoming a tropical storm tier. I do appreciate it very much. And which, by the way, we are about less than 11,000 away from opening up a store. I'm going to start opening up a store for the YouTube channel, selling products and stuff. But I decided to wait for that until we hit our benchmark of 50,000. And we'll slowly roll out stuff. I'll probably roll out a few products at first and then continue rolling out stuff. All right, Birmingham, Alabama. So let's go to Birmingham, Alabama. Alabama. Go to that. There we go. So Alabama, around 2 to 4 inches of snowfall is anticipated here based on the European ensemble and the super blend of models. Around 6 inches is anticipated over central Louisiana. So yeah, this is going to be a biggie. This is going to be a big one. I will go crazy if thunder snow like Jim from the weather. Oh my. Which, by the way, Lego Train, what's up? By the way, welcome everybody. Rose, thank you so much for that. Thank you, Bulldog 9634B, coming to Tropical Storm tier. That's if the storm obeys the model. Yeah, well, models are not perfect, and I'm gonna see if I could fit in a video once the weather really calms down on what are numerical models and how do they forecast things, right? I'll give you kind of a general overview. Numerical mathematical equations. So what happens is current conditions, satellite information, temperature information, wind information, and everything. Relative humidity, the jet stream, everything. You have these different layers, and they are all snapshotted, and it's called your initialization or your assemblyization. And as that happens, you put that all into a supercomputer. These computers, folks, are literally about the size of your house, if not bigger. They are big. They are massive. Think about, they're big, okay? They're huge. I think, you know what? I think the biggest supercomputer is I think the European model is the biggest, and it's about the equivalent of about the half of the size of a Costco grocery store or a shopping wholesale. If I'm correctly, very big. It's like a building of supercomputers, all right? And you need all that information because it needs to process all of that. And so all these ones and zeros, mathematical equations, and actually, this is what it is. Weather equations. So really quickly, I wanted to just show you this, just to go off topic really quickly about numerical models, what they are. There should be details about equations. Okay, now you know what? Let's go to images. This is what it is right here. This is what your primitive weather equations actually... Okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let me open this up as a new window. Nope. So this is kind of what it actually... Yeah, it's not open. Okay, open image in new tab. So this is basically... I know this is blurry, but those are all the weather equations, and I don't even understand any of this, and maybe 98% of you don't even understand what this all is. But these are equations of the atmosphere. And think about it this way. There's over... Now, this is an estimate. This is not official information. There's over a billion forecast grid points across the entire globe. All right, over a billion forecast grid points, depending on resolution and what model you're looking at. I think the Euro has over 2 billion forecast points. The GFS has over like 1 billion because the grid spacing is not as high resolution as the Euro is. So you can kind of think of that. It's all numerical, mathematics, weather science, and computer science. Something that is not in my pay grade. All right, so enough with that. So Long Island. So Long Island, you're looking at, well, Let's just do one storm here. So for Long Island, you're looking at about 1 to 3 inches of snowfall based on the ensemble. Would love to see some snow here in South Carolina. Well, you will see, hopefully, well, you may see a little bit, especially over the northern tier. Okay, I will answer your question. Sorry, I got ahead of myself with the mathematical basics of modeling. Okay, you're way up here. What was your question, Erica? I'm so sorry. I'm going to need to catch up on my questions. So let's start over here. I did Long Island. Charlotte, chances of snowfall. So Charlotte, let's go to the ensemble. Actually, let's go to the east sector and look at our probabilistic. I'm going to use probabilistic because, because you're asking for chances. Let's go to 3 inches. So for Charlotte, in North Carolina, that is, I want to make sure, yeah. So you're looking at about a 20 to 40% chance of seeing at least 3 inches of snowfall with this winter storm. And then, of course, on the 1 inch side of things, it's pretty likely you will see at least some form of snow. I live in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Tell me how much snowfall. So Jacksonville, North Carolina. So you're really close to Wilmington. You're asking for 6 inches, pretty much. Actually, probably close to a foot because of the chances here. This is a non-zero chance of seeing at least a foot of snow, but definitely the 6 inch mark is up there at 50%. Canadian model update. I will show the Canadian model. Do you know why the Apple weather app is so inaccurate? Really, Joey? I don't think it's inaccurate, or is it? I don't even use weather apps. You know what I do to check my forecast, folks? I check the models. That's my weather forecast. I am literally so modern in my weather forecasting industry that apps to me, any weather app, this is my personal opinion, it's trash. Apps, I don't trust apps at all. I don't trust any weather apps other than the National Weather Service app. Okay, that's the only one that I trust. The Weather Channel app, I mean, it was forecasting winds because we had a windstorm last week. It was forecasting winds of 15 miles an hour. It's like, dude, what? 15? But all the models are showing 22 mile an hour winds. And we ended up having winds of around 25 miles an hour. So the app was way off. Oh, that's what it is, Titan. All right. What's the snow totals for Houston? So for Houston, Texas, let's go to Houston. Everything is based off the ensemble forecast for those that are wondering, okay? For many reasons. Actually, I'll probably shift between different models. So like the deterministic Euro model. So for Houston, Texas, you're looking at about 2 to 5 inches of snowfall. Based on this model, now if we look at previous runs, it was a little lesser, and it was a little more in yesterday's 12Z. So this had shifted a little bit to the north. Which actually the Canadian, I believe, did really well on this. Has done quite well. Now the snowfall accumulation on this model, oh, you better hope there's not a foot of snow on what the Canadian is showing. That is pretty substantial. When will it get cold? When will the cold hit Texas? So the cold is going to hit Texas based on the Canadian model since I'm already on it. Well, if you're in southeastern Texas, it is going to really start getting cold for your Sunday, and it's just going to get even colder than that. Which, by the way, look how cold these temperatures are. like down here in the 20s, according to the Canadian. The European model, let's see what it's showing. Yeah, temperatures almost down into the upper teens. And this is your reinforcement of colder air. Yeah, look at this. For Wednesday morning, are you kidding me? 10 degrees in Louisiana. 10-degree temperatures in Louisiana. I'm just seeing this for the first time also. I mean, that is pretty stinking cold. That is very cold. And when we look at our apparent air temperature, negative and single-digit temperatures, that's what it's going to feel like. Man, that's wild. I'm telling you, that is seriously wild. This actually concerns me. This is probably the biggest Arctic outbreak in a few years at least. And in some instances, it could be the biggest Arctic outbreak in perhaps 5 or 6 years. I mean, that's significant. I feel bad for a lot of you. I really do. It's like, man, how are you all going to be able to stay warm? I mean, that's the question that everyone's probably going to ask me. Like, how are we going to stay warm, David? I hope you have enough heating in your house. It's the opposite of a... You know what I think of this as? A cold wave. Get it? Heat wave, cold wave. Only this is going to be a serious cold wave, by all means. How cold will temps get in Indiana? So based on the European model, let's see here. Monday morning, I think, okay, Wednesday morning, it's going to be the coldest for your area. I would say, based on this model, I would say negative 15-degree temperatures. Negative 15 on Wednesday. Negative 15 on Wednesday, and that is about 40 to 50 degrees below normal. Wind chill values not looking too bad, actually, because the wind is not going to be all that strong. But still, it's going to be mighty cold. Actually, I think the Canadian does a little bit better because it's kind of glitched up there. So if this comes true, your wind chill values in Indiana could be as low as negative 30, negative 40 degrees. And this does concern me. I mean, if this pans out on the Canadian, that's negative 25, negative 30-degree temperatures in the Ohio Valley, Indiana. Wow, that is dangerous. That is very dangerous. Dawson, thank you. I'm glad you liked the update. How much snow will Chesapeake, Virginia get? So Chesapeake. So that is a little Chesapeake Beach. So that's over in this area, right here near Annapolis. Oh man, that's a huge tongue twister for me. So for that area, you are looking at about 4 to 8 inches of snowfall. 4 to 8 inches of snowfall. Oh, it's near Norfolk. Okay, there is a Chesapeake Beach though, so usually there would be a city near that. So, okay, it is down here then. Sorry, I don't know every city, folks, so you guys got to help me here. Oh yeah, there is Chesapeake. All right. Funny that Chesapeake Beach is here and Chesapeake is over here. I guess they should name everything Chesapeake. So, south of Norfolk, at that point, I'm changing my predictions. About 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. 2 to 5 inches, actually. What about Asheville, North Carolina? Okay, so Asheville, North Carolina, oh, man. Man, I wish we were able to get high-res models, and I give you more accurate instead of just looking at a weather bell map. So today is the tough day for me to figure this all out. So Asheville, North Carolina is over here, Western North Carolina. So for that area, I'm guessing about, I'm giving you my honest opinion, probably between about an inch all the way up to about 5 or 6 inches. It really just depends on that extent northward. Does that trend continue going northward? If it does, you're going to get more snow. And sometimes, more than likely with this, because you get northwesterly flow behind it, you're actually going to get a snow shadow. So yeah, Asheville might not get hardly anything at all with this winter storm. Macon, Georgia. All right, you know what? There is so many questions coming in right now that I am probably going to have to just stick to whether I'm going to just have to stick to Radar Omega for a while. Questions are coming in like crazy, and this is good. Again, this is a very good thing. You guys are curious. I would be curious. And you know what? Let me ask you guys this question. All right, after I get to that question. All right, so where was it at? Where was it at? Oh my goodness, see? So if I skip over your question, I am so sorry. So Carterville, Georgia. So Carterville, Georgia. Let me go to that. Sorry, I am not from this. I'm not a southeastern resident, so all these cities are kind of new to me. And then my mouse didn't get smaller. Come on. There we go. So Carterville, based on the GFS here, and that's the disappointing thing, is that why don't they provide this on the European model? This just irritates me. You're not going to be able to see, and you have to just rely on the other models to get the snowfall forecast. So it makes it really tough. It really does. Hold on. What just happened here? Okay, there we go. Let me get my snowfall forecast back. So the GFS, I mean, I don't trust the GFS very much, but it's going to be the one that is going to have to do. So I'm just going to have to up these a little bit. So in central portion there of Georgia, you're looking at about 3 to 5 inches, maybe up to 6 inches of snowfall. So now I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts about this winter storm for the Deep South? Do you think the European sees the storm a little bit better with snowfall totals? Do you think the Canadian sees it better, or do you think one of the three models, which model do you think is handling this very well? That's my question to you. Fayetteville, North Carolina. So that area is going to get around 2 to 5 inches of snow based on the forecast that I'm seeing. Actually, I should use the European model. I'm using the Canadian. How silly. Thank you so much, Peter. European is more accurate. I vote Canadian. Canadian definitely. Euro. The Canadian all day. A lot of you say the Canadian has handled this quite well, which I do believe that, because it really saw this whole big snowmageddon kind of thing over Louisiana, and now the models have trended towards that. Which is why we, like some of you in my last video have told me that, dude, why are you using the freaking Canadian, the cherry picking the worst model out there that's bullish? A model is a model. So that's why, if you've noticed in my videos, I go through all three of the weather models: the Euro, the GFS, and the Canadian. All right, and sometimes the Icon, but the Icon has limited amounts of layers I can use on that. So I always use the three main models: the Euro, the GFS, and the Canadian. All right, because I want to be thorough. I do need to be thorough. I don't want to just be looking at one model and then you all will look at me like, dude, this guy is cherry picking the worst case scenario model, you know? Okay, so Savannah, Georgia is going to more than likely get around 2 to 5 inches of snowfall based on the European model. Of how cold it is now. All right, so you do agree with that. What about Fitzgerald, or that's a weird name. I have never heard of that. So let me go over here. So that's southern Georgia. So about 2 to 4 inches of snowfall is my thinking for that area. Lexington, North Carolina. So Lexington, North Carolina. So let's go to Lexington. Oh, and Lexington. Hold on, Lexington. There's a lot of Lexingtons, and one in each state. Wow. So Lexington, North Carolina. That's kind of central-ish. No snow is expected. Maybe a dusting at most. Birmingham, Alabama. So Birmingham, Alabama, about that's northern Alabama, right? So actually that's central Alabama. So you're going to get about 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. Crestview, Florida. All right, Crestview, Florida. If I skip over your question, I am so sorry because chat's going crazy. Crestview, Florida. Oh, wow, yeah. Crestview, Florida is going to get a couple of inches, maybe even up to 3 inches of snow with this winter storm. Brooklyn, Massachusetts. Or did you mean Brooklyn, New York? You meant Brooklyn, New York. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking with you. Brooklyn. Oh, Brockton. I misread that. Brockton, Massachusetts. Oh, good luck on. Oh my goodness. You're gonna, well, if you believe the Euro, you believe in 12 inches of snowfall. Yeah, you most likely could get a foot of snowfall out of this. Lufkin, Texas. So Lufkin, Texas. So Lufkin, Eastern Texas, about 2 to 5 inches of snowfall. All right, Augusta, Georgia. I know where that is because I lived there for a couple of months. You're looking at about 2 to 4 inches of snowfall in that area. Wake Forest, North Carolina. Let's go to Wake Forest, North Carolina. So Wake Forest, North Carolina, no snow is expected. Nothing, not very much. Maybe a dusting to maybe about an inch or 2. Philadelphia with that first winter storm, you are looking at about 6 to 8 inches of snowfall. For once, Philadelphia is going to get snow, all right? So you guys get to say, hallelujah, it's snowing. Actually, you know what, folks? Send me pictures and video on my Twitter page. Follow me on Twitter at Weather United 1. It's right down there. Follow me there to send images, to send pictures when it snows. And then just maybe I'll host them in my next video or live stream. Thank you, Brittany Hall, for the $2 donation, sweetheart. You are awesome. So let's go to that. Georgia. Milledgeville, oh my gosh, I can't even say that correctly. Central Georgia, you are looking at about 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. By the way, share this with your family and friends. It really does help out a lot. David, how about Virginia Beach? So Virginia Beach, you want to hear my estimate? Wild estimate here, wild forecast. 2 to 9 inches of snowfall is expected. Just because of the sharp gradient that is involved. So you might get as low as 2 inches or as much as 9 inches. Oh my goodness. Oh man, I cannot even keep up with all of these. I'm trying. Oh my goodness. Maybe the next stream I am going to have to enable slow-mo, which I don't want to do. Will northern Mississippi get any more snow in the next few days? Northern Mississippi doesn't look like it, no. You're done with the snow for a while. Gulfport, Mississippi, so that's down here. You're going to be getting around 4 to 8 inches of snow potentially. Update South Carolina. Thank you. I share your links. Thank you so much. Up at 11. Thank you for the $2 donation. Yeah, you guys follow me on Twitter as well. I know I haven't been as active, but I'll try my best. Okay. I share only more extreme things. Like if it's gonna be a big deal, I might be doing a little more posting on there later on today. Louisville, Kentucky. So Louisville, Kentucky is going to get around an inch of snow. That's literally with the second system that you got coming in. Thank you. Tazewell, Virginia, please. Tazewell. So that area, wow, there's some good decent snow that there. Probably I'm looking at about 2 to 8 inches of snowfall. Raleigh, North Carolina. Did I do Raleigh already? No, I didn't. So Raleigh, North Carolina. Yeah, not much snow. Not much snow, according to the Euro. How about Gadsden, Alabama? Gadsden, Alabama. I do want to get to the Arctic air here in a little bit, so I want to get that covered. So we'll end questions here at 2:15, all right? So that's about 5:15 Eastern time. So make sure you send those questions in because I want to talk about the Arctic air as well because that's going to be a life-threatening. That's going to be extreme. That's going to be probably more than likely a record-breaking thing. For that portion of Alabama, you're not going to get much snow at all. Again, depending on where that goes, all right? If it shifts a little north, then the snowfall totals go up. I thought you said Easton, Brittany, at first. I was like, gosh, my sister lives in Easton, Maryland. I almost want to move there, too. I keep on, when I see winter storms like this, how awesome you guys are getting this Arctic air mass, I'm like, I want to move there. I want to move back east. So for Central Georgia, you're looking at 2 to 5 inches of snowfall. But I guess a good thing about me living in California is I'm able to do my early morning videos because the model timing and everything. Geez, thank you all for the donations. Almost up to $100. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Peter Moth, for the $2 donation. Brittany Hall, again, thank you. I do appreciate all the donations. This is awesome. Any prediction on wind velocities? Yeah, so interesting. I'm glad you asked that because I haven't been really following up on the wind very much. I don't think the wind is going to be a really big problem, but look at how impressive this is. Talk about a sharp cold front right here. Where's the Gulf of Mexico? Come on. Here we go. Look at how intense that cold front is. Look how sharp those winds increase. You go from southerly all the way down to to the north. That is a very sharp front moving in. And you can even see, look how much colder the temperatures fall even behind that front. That is really cool, actually. That is very cool. And the gravity waves behind it, too, is pretty exciting. Worst case ice scenario for Ocala, Florida, please. Oh yeah, that's where my mom lives. Good thing you asked that. So let's go to ice accumulation. Ice. Actually, why is it not showing? Oh, because I have the Gulf sector up. So let me go over to Florida really quickly on the ice accumulation. Okay, I'll accept a few more questions and then we are going to get started here talking about the Arctic air because this is very significant. This concerns me a whole lot, okay? And I know a lot of you are probably not interested in the Arctic air, but I have not been talking about it. And where in the heck is Florida? I haven't been talking about it at all in my recent videos. And so I really want to kind of update you all on that. And look actually at current observations too. So, freezing rain total. So, for Ocala, Florida, probably about a glaze to maybe 5/100ths of an inch, but wow, right to your north, that's where you have the devastating ice accumulations. How is Bismarck in North Dakota going to look, please? Yes, we're going to get to that. All right, so let's take a look here, and this froze on me. But again, I want to thank you all for the support that this channel has gotten so far. We are at 39,000. So again, if you haven't subscribed yet, I would really, really highly recommend doing so. And also hit the bell icon as well. All right, so here's a look at the latest observations right now. Actually, let me just turn it over to full screen, and then we will look at our current temperatures. So yeah, these are not wind chill values. These are actual temperatures, and I'm telling you, it's -15 right now in North Dakota. It is pretty cold up here, all thanks to this northwesterly flow that's bringing in that colder air. And then, yeah, you go way up here with some of these weather stations, -22 degrees. This is where all the colder air is going to be coming from. Queen Elizabeth Island, -25 degrees. And I think the wind chill there will more likely feel like -40, -50 degrees. So yes, this cold air is coming on in, and it's only going to amplify even further as this colder front, or this cold front, swings its way southward. And here comes that next system. It's developing in a hurry. And actually, there's your low pressure that's already beginning to set up here over Tennessee gradually. If you guys do have some questions relating to the colder air, I will answer those. But if it's related to the snow, I will have a secondary session of questions in regards to the snow. Don't worry, we will get to questions before I end the stream here. I will be live here until about 3:15 or just before or just after 3. So we have another hour to get through with questions and stuff. So there's always plenty of time. All right, thank you for the $10 donation, purely for that. You guys are just awesome. God bless you guys for donating and everything. It does help out very much. So there's our current storm system. These are our temperatures right now, 29 degrees there, but this colder air is going to be a thing. And with that being said, let's get into our forecast, right? Let's take a look at how cold it's going to get, because this is just the beginning. So the colder air is coming in, right? These are wind chill values, by the way. So your actual air temperature is going to look like this, right? So it's going to be -14 tonight, all right? So not much colder than it is now. And then it's going to get even colder, especially as we go into Monday morning and Tuesday morning. That's when it's going to be much colder. And look at this. Air temperatures in some isolated locations, like up here, -36 degrees. I don't know if that's a glitch. I don't think that is, though, because it does keep showing up there on the NAM. This is from the NAM, by the way. So yeah, if it gets down to -34 degrees there, that is awfully cold. We're talking single digits. Right now, not so bad for Indiana, but look what happens. This colder air comes down, and it gets down to like 1 degree tonight. And then let's go and look at the European model, because that goes to the extended forecast. Yeah, look at this. Negative 31 degrees for your Monday morning. So that is very much possible, according to the NAM and the Euro agreeing on extreme cold. And then look at some of the higher elevations here. Negative 41 in northwestern Wyoming near Yellowstone. Southeastern portion there, or southwestern Montana. Thank you, Xavier, for the $2 donation. Peter Moss, thank you for the 5. Thank you, Solis, for the $2 donation. Justin G, good afternoon, brother. How's everything? You are in my prayers, by the way, with all the fires that are still burning. Well, they're not burning, or are they burning? I haven't followed it literally in the last day or two. Last I heard, they were getting them under control, but you just had a Santa Ana wind event just a day or two ago that made things a little more challenging. And unfortunately, Justin, there is no rain in the forecast for the foreseeable future, probably into early February, with temperatures likely to moderate a little bit between the mid to upper 60s to lower 70s. So it's just not going to get any better for Southern California. In fact, Southern California has had the driest winter, the driest start to winter ever on record. Has never been this dry before. The initial fires are under control. Unfortunately, there's a major Santa Ana upcoming on days 3 and 4. Oh, these winds, I'm telling you, they just don't want to stop. They just don't want to stop. So, this colder air is going to be pretty serious, though. All right. Not much for California, though, of course. We miss in on this. And this moves into the Great Lakes. Negative 15 degrees, and then the colder air moderates a little bit. And hopefully it's gone for good. But then we will see about what happens later on. Maybe another resurgence of colder air. But at least in the short term, we are talking about dangerous cold wind chills. Those are air temperatures, but then here's your wind chills. And look at how low these get. I mean, we're talking negative 60-degree wind chills. In fact, let's go to here. Go to the northern tier of the United States. Yeah, look at this. Wind chill values overnight tonight, negative 46. And then look at this. Getting down to negative 53-degree wind chills. That's very dangerous. That is extremely dangerous. Never seen it before in a long time. Yeah, and it shows the same thing here on the NAM. I would say the Euro is a little bit more accurate when it comes to that because it's a more high-resolution model. So you can see right here, negative 45 to negative 55-degree wind chills all the way through Tuesday morning. Negative 53, yeah, that's very serious. Let's go to the Canadian model really quickly. I wanted to show you that. And there it is right there. See your negative 50-degree, oh wait, negative 60-degree wind chills. And then look at this. It's very bullish on this. With even Indiana getting really cold wind chill values. Pretty concerning. Pretty concerning. And then we'll see about what this does later on in the period. Morrow, Georgia. What's up, Xavier, again? So, Morrow, Georgia is going to definitely get some extreme cold air out of the north. Wind chill values in the single digits. What's up, Marlon Queen? How are you doing? What's up, Caleb? Winter said, how are you doing? How about third storm, end of month? I'm in Tennessee. End of month. I did not, you know what? I have not checked that far out. I've been really focusing on this winter storm, these two systems. There might be a third one. Let me see. I've not checked the models. Yeah, see, it's it is gangbusters all over the place. I mean, you can't really look very far out. At this point, the very end of the month is in question. This pattern that we're going through right now, this could change really quickly, and it is very hard to say if this system's going to develop, but there has been something there. Now, if this pans out, that's a different story. But on our latest model, it's each model, it shows a different scenario. So there will more than likely be a storm before we end January, another one of these winter storms, but how is that going to evolve? That remains to be answered. The GFS is still rendering. Let's see what the 12Z showed, if there was any storms. And see, this is not showing much at all. So this is kind of a really, I don't know, pseudo kind of mediocre pattern that we're in. It's just kind of, it's not super stormy. We're not talking about like an all-time historic Winter Storm Elliott or anything up in here. We're not talking about a Colorado Rocky Low that bombs out here and then moves kind of like this. We're not talking anything about that with this pattern layout that we're in. Instead, it's just going to be these repeated Arctic air masses that are going to be coming in out of the north. And then maybe, hopefully, the pattern changes, but golly word. This pattern is not going to be changing. I mean, this is pretty unfortunate. In fact, if we look at the entire North America continent, right up in here, the problem we have is we have this really block across the west. This is really locked in, this standing wave, just terrible. Arctic air coming in out of the north. We got this trough in the east, ridge in the west. I mean, this is as bad, as terrible of a pattern you can get. One for the cold record books, but also one for some record dry conditions across Southern California. And this pattern is not changing. It is just not going to want to change. And maybe, hopefully, little troughs can knock through the ridge by the latter part of January, as the pattern could potentially change. But as always, the ridge comes back all over again. So that's the concern, is the west, none of the west is getting rain. Even the Pacific Northwest, like, look how dry Washington is. I mean, really quickly, like, look how dry. I mean, some areas of Seattle may not see any rain over the next 2 weeks. Inland areas, no rain at all. Central California, not much rain at all. Like, as dry as a bone. Very dry. Record, possibly historically dry conditions for the rest of January for perhaps Northern California. There's just this resilient ridge of high pressure. And this, yeah, look at, this is even drier. Look at, there's no rain at all. Actually, yeah, so this is terrible. This is terrible right here. As dry as it gets. Fire conditions. But also, look how dry it's going to be potentially over the deep south. That's according to the GFS model. Actually, that's very dry for the 16-day period for the Appalachians, for the south central area. In fact, even for the northeast, it's looking really dry, except over here in portions of Missouri and Oklahoma and even Florida, only areas to see a little bit of above average anomalous precipitation. And let's see what the European model is showing on the ensemble. Yeah, it's also really dry. Same areas, quite dry down here, and also for the west, very dry. So expect to hear more about wildfires in California. State of emergency. fact, fires are so bad in California, I don't even want to live here. I don't want to live here at all. I want to move. I want to move somewhere. I hate my state being under a state of emergency because of fire danger. And this low right here would be the one to really watch for. Okay, so thoughts on the snow for North Carolina. So for North Carolina, you will get snow for sure. I'm just going to do a snapshot here of the southeast. So we'll get back into questions. You know, I just wanted to tell you, share with you all about the Arctic air. And not to mention, really quickly, there are extreme cold warnings out. Okay, extreme. That's from the National Weather Service. And let's go over to the weather alerts tab so you can see this briefly. All right, extreme cold warning in dark blue, dark blue. And I'm surprised this area is not under cold weather advisories. Those should be filling in because this is going to be pretty extreme. By the way, if you all are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Boy, we're almost at 39,100 subs, folks. Thank you guys for the support. David, will Panama City, Florida get snow, or is it just too close to the Gulf or Mexico? Will we get ice instead? Panama City, Florida. Let's take a look at that. So Panama City, Florida, you're definitely going to get... Okay, you're right there. You're definitely going to get ice. There's more... It's going to be more likely in the form of ice and sleet in the mix, I do believe. Maybe right on the coast if they're... But see, you're getting northerly flow, so this is offshore flow. So the ocean is not going to protect you at all. And so you're going to get ice. You're going to get an ice storm, perhaps, most likely. This is 90 hours out, and this is quite alarming right in here. Touchdown, Chiefs. Oh, see, I don't follow football. I'm a little surprised you want me to look at the Canadian model, which is always bullish on ice accumulation. But, hey, I'll do what you guys want me to do, right? Ice accumulation in northern Florida around 1/4 of an inch to about 1/2 an inch of ice. The European model is more bullish further north with the most ice. And let's see what the GFS is showing. Yeah, GFS is not ice savvy. So in other words, I am more generously looking at the Canadian model, up to about 1/2 an inch of ice. Houston, Texas. Let's go down to Houston, Texas on the ice amounts. So Houston, Texas, we're probably looking at about 5/100 of an inch. European model, a lot more, possibly up to 1/10 of an inch or more of ice. Boy, I feel bad for Corpus Christi. Significant power outages will more likely occur because of all that ice, up to about 2 to 3/10 of an inch. Nashville, Tennessee, you're not going to get a whole lot of wintry weather, maybe an inch or less of snow, a flurry. Kristen, you're hiding. I don't know. If they're spamming, hide them or delete the comments. But if they're not really spamming, if it's question. So Trinity Clark, will Metro Atlanta get any snow? Metro Atlanta is... So Metro Atlanta could get up to about 1 inch or 2 of snow. So yeah, a dusting of snow is anticipated with this winter storm. Charlotte, North Carolina, around 1 inch or so, or less. Thank you so much, Christy in Ohio. I do appreciate it. And I want to give a big thank you to everyone for supporting the channel since the 1st of January. Okay, the newcomers since then. I'm blessed. I am speechless. I want to give a huge thank you to all of you that are coming to the channel, watching these videos that I do make. I do apologize, and I want to really be thorough here. I do apologize if I do go a little crazy on the titles and thumbnails and everything. I'm changing things around a little bit, strategizing and stuff like that. And it seems whatever I'm doing is working. And so let me try to see what I can think of saying. Got silent there. But it's working. And if it's working, I'm going to continue doing it, you know. I don't want you guys to think I'm doing it for views or subs or anything. That's not what I'm here for. You got to strategize. You got to do some improvements, you know. And so uppercasing some keywords in the title like major, extreme, serious, this and that, it gets your guys' attention, you know. And once I did that, boy, yeah, people flocked to my channel. So that's why I don't think I'm going to change it very much. I don't think so. So as long as it doesn't cause a lot of problems, and it has not, other than people saying I'm clickbaiting, which other people on YouTube are doing almost the same thing. That's why I'm going to laugh at you guys. And on February 1st, to be quite honest, starting February 1st, and I did make a pinned comment on a few videos ago that on the 1st of February, any comments that are not appropriate or are disrespectful will be hidden or will be deleted, and you get 3 strikes. 3 strikes, you're out, and you'll be hidden off the channel. That's just to keep the channel clean and organized, you know? So we don't have a flock of negative comments and other people see that and be like, oh, I'll just make a negative comment too because this person did it, right? So we got to make sure, you know, we got to keep things aligned, and we got to, you know. What do you think? Which model do you think is the most accurate? I would say between the European and the Canadian. It seems like all the models have latched onto the Canadian. The European and the GFS were going back and forth the most. It seems like the Canadian was more consistent. So on an overall perspective, I would say the Canadian and the European model are both accurate. But not all the time, but in historical data, I would say the European and the GFS are historically more accurate than the Canadian. Thank you, Chrissy. I'm glad that's a great idea. So starting February 1st, all right, that will be enforced just to keep things clean and spiffy and shiny and polished in the comment section. YouTube doesn't recommend YouTubers to do that, but like if it gets excessive, then action will be taken. All right, so, and I do save lives. Yes, Queen of Detroit. I do save people's lives like I did with Helene. Milton. Oh, I cannot forget about Milton though. Holy moly. In the Southern Gulf. Excuse me. Thank you, Trish. Thank you so much. Yes, yes, it's your channel. Throw out the people who are disrespectful. Yes. I don't want to come across as hurtful or rude to people, though. That's not because I want to be nice to people to get more views and stuff. No, that's not what I'm here for. That's just my personality. I don't like hurting people's feelings. That's just how I am. That's just who I am, you know? And if I do hurt someone's feelings, I'll say sorry a billion times, you know? Well, call him strike one, David. Well, not yet, Kristen. We're not enforcing it yet. You're excited for 50? I am excited for 50,000, yeah, because that's halfway point to 100,000, yeah. And I know we can get there, folks. I know we can get there. And so if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Again, I am speechless on how far we have come with this channel. Really. I mean, it's crazy. It really is. Like a little growth spurt pains. You know, your growing pains that you get? Yeah. That's how I feel. That's how my channel feels at this point. What's the outlook for Tennessee coming up next week, please and thank you? So for next week, so this winter storm goes through, and then it's just going to be cold and not really much in the way of Tennessee weather. Next week is just very interesting. It's weird because there are low pressure systems. You can see a low pressure here, but it's just it's not very active. The troughs are there, but we're missing the moisture. And I think it's just, there is so much colder air just pouring out of Canada. I mean, look how stable this is down here. And with that being so stable, you're not going to be able to get enough moisture coming out of these weather systems, even so we have the troughs. Now, if we had enough moisture getting pulled in ahead of this trough here in the Midwest, then we would be dealing with a different situation, probably another significant winter storm. But because of all this colder air, excuse me, it's not able, the warmer air is not able to fill back in off the Gulf, and we're still getting cold air advection. So therefore, you're not getting a whole lot of wintry precipitation other than this winter storm that we are seeing on Tuesday, and the one that's coming through New York City tonight into the day tomorrow. How much snow for Tyler, Texas? Let's take a look. Tyler, Texas, you are looking at about 1 to 5 inches of snowfall for Tyler, Texas. But yeah, if you guys want to follow me on social media, I am kind of a bit active on Rumble. I'm not really into it at this point with Rumble. If you want to follow me there anyways, thank you anyways. But I'm really active on Twitter. So, well, X, I should say. X, I'm active on. So if you want to follow me there, it's at WeatherUnited1. And if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's at WeatherForce2024. How about Shreveport, Louisiana? Brunswick, Georgia, snow or ice? Brunswick, Georgia. So that is over here. Wow, right along the coast. So Brunswick, Georgia, you are going to get a little bit of ice, a little bit of sleet, and a little bit of everything. So snow, sleet, and ice you're going to get. All right, good job, Kristen. Saving the day. Shreveport, Louisiana. All right, so for Shreveport, Louisiana, that is way up here. You're not going to get a whole lot of snow with this at all. Actually, you're not going to get any snow. Maybe an inch or less. Maybe even a dusting and less. You're very welcome, Lori Robertson. I do appreciate it. Dylan Wood. Marita. Sorry, the chat is going a little crazy. Marita, Georgia. If I do skip your question by accident, I'm sorry, okay? I am sorry. Marietta. I think that's how you say it. Marietta, Georgia, in the Atlanta metro area. You're not going to get a whole lot of snow with this winter storm. Belverde, Texas. So Belverde, Texas. Let's go to Belverde. Belverde. Okay, let's see. Belverde, Texas. Tanya. So that area, you're not going to get a whole lot of snow. Probably a few inches is all you're going to get with that winter storm. Yeah, just a few inches. What's up, Johnny Westbrook? A very loyal, long-time viewer that's been following me for like 5 years already. 6 years, 7 years. I think 7 years already. Yeah, you're getting snow, bud. And that's weird you're saying that. I'm going to get snow. Like, really, dude? You're getting snow? Yeah, you're literally going to get snow with this. How rare is that? And honestly, you guys, I'm being honest with you. This could be historic in terms of state level historicness. I mean, look at this. Some areas could get up to 8+ inches of snowfall. I mean, come on, Louisiana in a subtropical state, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama. Wow. I mean, Mobile, and yes, there is snow over the Gulf Coast. It is snowing over the Gulf of Mexico. That goes to show you. Lexington, Kentucky is not going to get a whole lot of snow with this, Kenneth. Columbia, South Carolina. So Columbia, South Carolina is also not going to get a whole lot with this either. You're only going to get a couple of inches. That main Arctic high was very close to 1,050 millibars late Friday near northern Alberta at the time. Oh yeah, this Arctic high coming in, yes, it is really, really strong. That's a 1,052 millibar, by the way, for Saturday morning, that is. But there's another Arctic high that's coming down, and this one's going to be stronger, and that's why it's going to be colder. Look how strong this one is, 1,053 millibars. But if we look at the Canadian model, it's even stronger, 1,056 millibars. In reference to that, that's very, 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 very high pressure. Extremely high above normal. And that's your Arctic high. And it actually gets to 1,061 millibars. That's very, very substantial. Man, that's a doozy of a Arctic high. Let's go to snowfall again. Georgia, okay, thank you so much for keeping us updated. You're very welcome, Ava. Georgia stands, yes. You're very welcome, Tanya. Suffolk, Virginia. Suffolk. Okay, Suffolk, Virginia. European model is not too thrilled about it at all with the snow down there. With that first initial storm, then the second storm, you get snow and you can get a few inches. Or you'll probably get a few inches. How much snow for Central Virginia? Let's go to that. So for Central Virginia, a rough bag of about 1 to 3 inches. How much snow in Milton, Florida? Wait, Milton? There's a Milton in Florida. Yeah, there is a little. Oh, yeah, there is a Milton right over there. Okay. Milton, Florida, about 2 to 4 inches of snow, maybe 5 inches. We'll go 5 inches for you. Beaumont, Texas. So Beaumont, Texas is going to get... So Beaumont, Texas, you are going to get about 4 to 8 inches. 4 to 8 inches. Apple Pay, please. No Apple Pay. I don't know what you're referring to. Like, you want to donate money? I am looking into setting up a Streamlabs where people do donate and they don't take any money out like they do with YouTube. I have to figure that all out. It's going to be a long process. And once I figure that out, when you guys donate all of the money, YouTube doesn't take a percentage out, if that's what you're referring to. Lindenhurst, New York. Lindenhurst, New York. Oh my gosh, chat's going freaking insane. I love you guys. So Lindenhurst, New York. Oh yeah, you're gonna get snow. Oh yeah. You're going to get snow with this. No problem about that. Based on the Euro, but the high-res models are wiggling around. Yeah, you're going to get at least 5 inches, 6 inches. Make it snow, David. I'm trying. I want snow, please. You know what? You guys make me laugh. You know, I feel the same way for where I live in California. I want rain. I want rain so bad. I want rain so bad, but we haven't had anything over the last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and we're not seeing anything over the next 3 weeks. And on top of that, dry conditions, strong winds, yeah. Yeah, California is in serious trouble. I mean, no rain in the forecast, more strong, damaging offshore wind events coming, somewhat warmer temperatures, and that's going to just make fire conditions more dangerous. It's just, I don't want to say this, but I feel like we're going to have one of the worst fire seasons in California state history this year. If the dry conditions keep up like this, I mean, if we can't get any more rain for the rest of the season, which has happened before. We went 3 months without rainfall during what should be the wettest time of the year. What's up, San Garantine? How are you doing? Ethel. So Ethel. Ethel, Louisiana. You're going to get up to about 8 inches of snowfall. Yeah, Mobile. Yeah, Mobile's going to get interesting conditions. Definitely a lot of snowfall and colder temperatures. It's going to be windy too. I swear, folks, I swear. Please send in your pictures and your videos. All right, follow me on X right now. This is my X page. Right all in here. Follow me right now. And this is where, if you guys post stuff and everything, I will be able to get it and bring it on maybe my next live stream. Maybe we will do a special live stream where we show where I shout you all out and like we look over what you all found as far as snowy conditions. Thank you, Sarah Nova. Question: chances that storm track will go further north than projected about 30 miles. So right now, the chances of it going further north are probably, I would say about another, chances of it going north are about a 20 to 30% at this point. Models are going to shift around a little bit, but a little jog to the north isn't out of the question. So thank you for that, Sarah Nova. Okay, we're all, yeah, unfortunately, not everyone's doomed. I don't want you all to think that, all right? You just need to make sure you're prepared. You know, I'm here to make sure not only to save lives, but to make sure you guys are getting ready for this winter storm. All right? If you're prepared, you won't be doomed. That's all I got to say. You got to be prepared. All right? Have the generator ready just in case your power goes out because the strong winds, icy conditions. Don't drive out in this and get stuck. All right? Just be safe. All right? You're doomed if you go out in this and get trapped in your car, then you're doomed. Yeah. Katy, Texas. It's hard to believe that, like, the Deep South is going to see such a snowstorm, though. I'm still kind of, I don't believe it. I really don't believe it very much. And actually, let me ask you guys this question. You've been asking me all these questions. Do you think, and this is kind of a stupid question, I already know the answer to this, but I want to see what you guys think. Do you really think this snowstorm is actually going to develop as what models show for the Deep South? I want to hear your guys' answer. You're going to be the meteorologists for me. You're the weather experts. Tim Hall says, nope, not really. No, definitely not. Yes, even more. Yes. Storms rarely develop as exactly models show. Probably not. Pete McDivitt is in chat. What? Pete's here? Wait. Where's Pete at? Ban Everything. What's up, Ban Everything? How are you doing? You're down there in southern Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana area. Okay, we don't have Pete McDivitt. Well, what's up, Alex Miller? How are you doing, bud? Welcome. No, in Dallas. Wait, there's a Dallas, Georgia? What? No, there's no Dallas. There's no Dallas. There is a Dallas in Georgia. What the heck? Wow, there is. No snow expected for Dallas, Georgia. Sorry. Maybe a dusting at best. Yeah, Alex, are you ready for the snow? Oh, sweet. He's sending more people over. Great. That's awesome. So yeah, Alex Miller, you're in Reading, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I didn't forget where you live. You're right there, Reading, Pennsylvania. Get ready for about 4 to 8 inches of snowfall with this winter storm and some very cold temperatures. And what that means is Waterboy Alex. Waterboy Alex, that's his nickname, folks, because he always reminds me to drink water, so I just call him Waterboy. And right now, he could become a solid. He will, probably. David, can you shovel for me? No, you can shovel it. You can shovel it. Alex. I am drinking enough water, yes. But yeah, I'm concerned about the freezing rain down here in Georgia. That could be really bad. Or that will be bad. If it accumulates like this, what the Euro model shows, there will be a lot of power outages for sure. Lots of problems. And that's just how it's been this winter season. It's been a wild one. It's been a terrible one. Look at the Great Lakes. The Northeast going to get that snowstorm. Okay. Oh, wow. All right. Got some new information from Johnny. The National Weather Service just upped their snowfall totals for Louisiana. They're now forecasting up to 10 inches of snowfall. So, you know what? That's bullish. That's quite aggressive, actually. Given that the European model is not showing 10 inches in the Gonzales, Louisiana area. However, look at here, up to maybe 10 inches. That is incredible. Almost a foot of snowfall. That's historic. I think that this is going to be historic for Louisiana. It's the worst case scenario. Jeez. And you know what? You want to know what's worse too? Look how cold it gets overnight on Wednesday, on Johnny. That's concerning. Look at the Gulf Coast. Almost single-digit temperatures. Hey, you guys you're going to have colder temperatures further south than I am, and I'm further north in California. We never get temperatures hardly below 30 degrees at night. The coldest it's ever been was like 25 degrees a few years ago, but it never gets down that low, rarely. Yeah, Louisiana, I'm afraid Louisiana is going to be crippled. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. I'm going ice fishing for catfish, laughing out. It's going to feel comfortable. Wow, you must love the cold then. And then during the day, it's only going to be 32 degrees. Man, that is brutal. That is just brutal. All right, folks. Any last questions? If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Oh my gosh, we are almost up to 39,100 subscribers, folks. So thank you guys for supporting the channel. I do appreciate this. Holy moly. That's a lot. Some big time growth. And also ring the bell icon if you haven't already too. It does help out. Thank you, AIM. All right. New Hampshire. So New Hampshire, that's the first question from New Hampshire throughout the entire stream. So New Hampshire could get almost a foot of snow with this winter storm for the Northeast. That nor'easter, it is a nor'easter. If you guys say it's not a nor'easter, I'm sorry. It is a nor'easter. But yeah, maybe a foot along the New Hampshire coast there. There's a tiny 12 to 18 inches. 12 to 18 inches. Where? Where do you see 12 to 18 inches? I don't see 12 to 18 inches on the Euro. So I don't know which model you're looking at. Actually, let's look at the latest GFS. So yeah, the GFS pretty aggressive. But it seems to be most aggressive for Louisiana, and then it just kind of tapers off. Yeah, now I'm looking. This is the latest model from the 18Z GFS. We're going to need to watch This storm is going to come awfully close. We'll see where that trends in future model runs. That has trended further north, that next nor'easter potentially. A close call for that area. That would be for Cape Cod for Friday morning. So for the end of next week. And then maybe something else on this model. Yeah, this would be a big deal if this actually happens. So yeah, we're going to need to continue watching what happens through the rest of January. And then the pattern kind of shuts down for a little bit. Well, that's if you look at Fantasyland. But I think the weather pattern, I believe, is going to be active for the next potentially 7 to 10 days based on what we're seeing here. And then more colder air coming in out of the north. Which, by the way, this would be another significant Arctic air invasion. So yeah, active weather could continue. What's up, Matt Myers? Thank you for subscribing, brother. I do appreciate it. Madison, Mississippi. Okay, questions are going to end. Then I'm going to close it out with a huge thank you. Madison, Mississippi. So Madison, Mississippi is going to get, let's see here, going to look at the European model for snowfall totals. Going to go to here, going to go to here. So for that portion of Mississippi, you are looking at about 2 to 4 inches of snowfall is what I'm thinking. Mount Olive, North Carolina. Mount Olive, North Carolina. So Mount Olive, North Carolina, you are going to get, let's see here. Mount Olive, North Carolina, about 1 to 4 inches of snowfall is anticipated with that. Bulldog, thank you for the $2 donation. Wow, we're almost up to $100 in this stream, so thank you guys for that. Auburn, okay, questions are going to end. I have to get going in like 2 minutes, folks. I have to get going in 2 minutes. I have work. I have my second job that I have to attend to. So it ends right after, it ends at dot strong. No more after dot strong on the chat, okay? So let me get to Montgomery, Alabama. Montgomery, Alabama, you're going to get about 2 to 4 inches of snow. Northeast New Jersey, you're going to get about 10 inches of snow. Auburn, Georgia. Let's go to Auburn, Georgia. Not that. Auburn, Georgia, you're not going to get much. Maybe a couple of inches at most. Knoxville, please. So Knoxville, okay, Knoxville, Tennessee, you are going to get, let's see here. You're going to get about 1 inch or 2 of snow. Let's see, Valdosta, Georgia. Oh, how about Richmond, Virginia? We'll do Richmond. Then we'll go to that. There's always a next time, folks. I can't get to everyone's question. I wish I could. I wish I had the willpower of doing that, but I'm the one and only person here, so it takes me some time. I would say about 1 inch for that area. For Richmond, Virginia, Valdosta, Georgia. Valdosta, Georgia. So Valdosta, Georgia, you are going to get about a few inches of snowfall with ice accumulations and sleet in the mix. So a wintry mix for that area. Okay. Now, before I close this out, I want to say a huge thank you all for tuning in today's live stream. Also, thank you all for subscribing. For those people that did subscribe, I will have continued updates on this. Depending on how I feel tonight, I might push, you know what? Can I do it? I don't think I can do a morning video because I have family visiting for a day. I will try to get a video out tomorrow afternoon and have that out by 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm trying to stick to the 6 o'clock in the evening time frame. Also, holy cow, my sub number is going up. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So, and then I will be doing uploads every day. So if you haven't subscribed yet, get the notification bell on right now, because I am going to have videos out and live streams periodically, especially with the continuation of this active weather pattern that we're entering. As always, I think I'm going to end it because but I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. It does mean a lot. It really does, because this is my favorite. I love tracking winter weather, and I love tracking the hurricanes and tropical systems as well. This is literally up my alley, and it's exciting. It really is. I wish we could get snow and ice, and well, not ice, but snow and rain here where I live. We can't even get rain for the entire month, so yeah. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. There it is, right on the side, or X that is, and subscribe to the channel. As always, have a great rest of your Saturday, and I'll talk to you more tomorrow. Again, subscribe and like and share. Love you guys.